where did these dragon teeth come from? In order to tell you that, I must first tell you a story about Bill the Mushroom Fairy. What is a mushroom fairy, you may ask? Well, it's a fairy without wings that looks like a mushroom, and he lives in Mushroomville. You may think that this is just a toad, but you're wrong. Bill had just turned 4 years old, and it was time for him to kill a dragon, as tradition for all mushroom fairies calls for. So, in order to do this, he had to first make a bandsaw box to carry the dragon's teeth for ceremonial reasons. So Bill starts by going the only place that he knows how, to the old lady in the masking tape boot that lives in it. Of course. So, Bill makes a long journey over to the masking tape boot house, and he opens the door. And none other than Old Lady Riddler opens the door. And he's like, oh, hey, Bill, how you doing? And Bill's like, yay, I'm doing good. And he's like, I need to make a bandsaw box. He's like, hey, I can help you with that. I got a bandsaw inside this box. And he's like, oh, that's very cool. So Bill goes over to the bandsaw and he gets his wood and he's like, okay, I'm gonna start cutting now. So he starts cutting. And as Bill is moving his hands carefully through the bandsaw, all of a sudden, pew, the whole thing explodes. It goes bam, it's bam, 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 bam. Things flying everywhere. It's like crazy. And then Bill's like, oh no. Did I break it? Just like that, Bill broke the bandsaw. The Riddler looked at Bill in silence, and then he slowly opened his mouth and said, Bill's like confused. He's like, what did I do wrong? And Bill's like, he's coming for you. And he's like, who's coming for me? Riddler starts running away, but as he runs away, you can hear an echo of his voice as he screams, Stevie Wonder! And then Stevie Wonder shows up and he starts playing Superstition and he starts flying around. He's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, Bill. And Bill's like, no, I'm sorry. And Bill and Stevie Wonder, he ain't having it. He's like, you broke my bandsaw, Bill, and now I'm gonna break you. And Bill's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. So Bill starts running, okay? And then he gets a flamethrower, and there's like bam, flamethrower all over the boot, and the whole boot explodes. And then Bill runs out of it, and he runs back into the forest, and then he's safe. And that's great because Bill, he was having a long day, and he didn't know what to have. But at least he somehow magically finished the bandsaw box, so that was good. In the great world of Zootopia, the only place that dragons lived was in a place called Skull Tower. Bill knew that the journey to the tower was long and hard, but he began to walk, night and day, many weeks on end. Without sleep, he strode through the terrain until he finally arrived at Skull Tower. When he arrived to his destination, he was surprised by the utter silence. There were no dragons in sight. There was not even a mouse or a fly that moved. Bill thought to himself, what's going on? How comes there's no dragons? But then, in the void of all the silence, he heard a sound. It was like a light whisper. Oh, like wind in the distance. He heard it coming from the top of the tower. It's like windy magic. He's like, what is that? Bill thought to himself. And then he saw glowing lights. And then boom! Ghost Cat appeared. And then Bill was all off. Bill started running, and then Ghost Cat, his laser eyes turns on, and he was like, pew, 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 pew. He starts shooting at Bill, and Bill's like, I don't know what to do. So Bill starts doing somersaults, he starts jumping around, he's flying around, and he gets his grappling hook, he starts shooting at the Ghost Cat, but then boom, the Ghost Cat, it flies right through the Ghost Cat, because the Ghost Cat is a ghost, okay? And then Ghost Cat is like, I'm gonna destroy you, Bill, and Bill's like, no, I'm gonna destroy you, because I made friends along the way, and Bill did make friends along the way, because all of a sudden, bam, Foxman showed up, and he teamed up with Boxman, and teamed up with Stevie Wonder. So then they start shooting at the Ghost Cat, and Ghost Cat's like, oh no. So then Ghost Cat's like, and he starts like vacuuming up. He opens up his mouth and he starts like sucking all them in. He's like, no, we're gonna die. And Bill's like, no, you aren't. He pulls out the grappling hook again and he shoots it, but this time he believes in himself. He believes that grappling hook is gonna destroy the Ghost Cat, and it does. And then bam, Ghost Cat explodes, and then the Foxman, he's all like, you are banished. And then Foxman banishes him to Egypt. Pew! Ghost Cat gets banished to Egypt. Whew, Bill exclaimed. I'm sure glad that worked out. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. And the Foxman replied to Boxman, yes, I agree on this fact. But then Bill suddenly became sad. And Foxman was like, what? Why are you so sad, Bill? And Bill was like, I never found my dragon. Foxman smiled at Bill and said, look, there's your dragon. And in the distance, Bill could see it, the silhouette of a magnificent, beautiful dragon. All he had to do now was kill it and take its teeth for his own. But then boom, it turned out to be toothless. It was like, no, this is miserable. This is horrendous. I can't do this because now my dragon doesn't have teeth. But then Toothless flew away and he was like, oh, I'm surely doomed now. So then Bill thought to himself, what could I do? I don't have a dragon to bring home to my parents and they will banish me. So Bill, he sat there and he thought for a moment. And he thought for a long moment. He thought for hours. He thought for days. And then he had an idea. Using a silicone-based mold, he found some clay, sculpted it into a dragon tooth, and then made multiple copies that he then filled his bandsaw box with and brought home. And everybody loved him, and he lived happily ever after. The end.